Hello and welcome.
Today we have interesting stories, including one about an entitled man who refuses to allow his cousin use their family property for her wedding because she's a divorcee. Sit back, relax and enjoy. Am I the idiot for making my parents choose between my sister going to jail or replacing my car with their vacation money? I, female 17, live with my parents. I have an older sister, 29, that they had when they were super young. I think my mom was 19 and my dad was 18. They did not do a great job with her and she has a lot of problems. She is chronically unemployed and she is a thief. She has 2 kids that are okay. They live with us as well because her boyfriend didn't want them around. I like the kids, but they are spoiled little brats my parents dote on to make up for being shitty parents to their mom. My parents won't let me put a lock on my door because it is their house and they don't want that. No problem. I talked to the kids and explained about what would happen if they came into my room without permission. We have an understanding. Well, my sister broke up with her boyfriend and she needed a place to stay. I begged my parents not to let her stay with us. They declined, so I begged again for a lock for my door. No dice. I have to go to school, so I can't guard my stuff at all times. When I came home on Friday, I found my car absolutely trashed and the side of it destroyed. My sister had gone into my room, found my spare key and taken my car. Then lost control on the ice after a day of eating crap and tossing fast food wrappers everywhere. She sideswiped a tree. When I saw my car, I was livid. I told my parents that I expected her to pay to fix it. They said she didn't have any money, so I said that I would call my grandparents. They had helped me get the car and insurance. After talking with my grandfather, I came back to talk to my parents. I said that the insurance would cover fixing or replacing my car depending on the damage. But that I would have to file a police report, and that my sister would probably be charged for stealing my car. They begged me to tell insurance that she had permission. I said nope. So rather than go through insurance, they are replacing my car. But they are using money that they had set aside to take me and my nieces to Orlando next summer for my graduation. It's fine. I can do without seeing Disney World again. But my parents, sister, and nieces are upset with me and saying that I'm an idiot for denying my nieces the opportunity to go on a vacation that they have never had. I just asked them if a lock for my door would have been cheaper. Am I the idiot? The top replies, not the idiot. Your parents could go the cheaper route and send your sister to jail for grand theft and teach her they won't always bail her out, then no, ruined, vacation either. They're all wrong. It's not your fault that the vacation is no longer a possibility. Your sis was the cause of that. Enabled by your parents. They all can blame themselves. Honestly, I don't think your sister will learn her lesson until she faces direct or aitA consequences like prison. There is no direct or aitA financial impact on parents unless they don't feel bad. You're not wrong. You're not wrong if you confirm that her sister went to jail, but you should move out ASAP. Staying in a toxic household has a huge impact on your mental health. The second reply, honestly, the more I think about it, the more I'm thinking that we should just report it to the police and let the chips fall where they may. After all, sister did steal my car, and you were right that it's not fair to nieces to have to miss the trip because of sister's decision to break your trust and break the law. And the last thing I want is to be responsible for nieces missing out. So let's just report it to the police, not the idiot.
While I understand families deciding to handle situations like this within the family, rather than reporting it to the authorities, that is dependent on the wrongdoer being genuinely sorry for their mistake.
But your sister isn't sorry. Not even a little. Otherwise, she would recognize that her choice took the trip away from her children, and not be constantly trying to guilt or blame you. The third reply, not the idiot, and your parents are still bad parents to her and to her kids. Letting kids get away with everything and not having to face consequences as abusive because then they have no idea how to function in the real world. If your parents had actually learned anything about parenting, they'd make your sister deal with this or would at least force her to get a job to repay them.
If they did that, then the kids wouldn't miss out on Disney.
Every single aspect of this has been your parents' fault, and they are still failing. Update. Hey, I just got home from school. There is a deadbolt on my bedroom door. And my mom gave me a key. She says that she is keeping the other one for emergency. I agreed as long as it was only for emergencies. Second story. Am I the idiot for snapping at my friend who keeps ditching me because I now have a child? Just over 2 years ago, I, F29, unexpectedly got pregnant and now have a beautiful 18-month-old daughter, Sierra. Over that time my friend's circle got considerably smaller, but my best friend remained, Mia, F31. Mia doesn't have kids nor wants kids, but she's been brilliant with Sierra. I'm a Som and obviously don't have as much time to hang out as I did previously. Mia and I live on the same street. We're in Manchester, England, and it's a walking distance between our houses. I've told Mia numerous times that she can just pop in whenever she wants to. She works from home, but she rarely does. She did at the beginning, but it's been happening less and less. Instead, she keeps suggesting we go out for coffee or pizza or even a drink, but I don't have the time and always just tell her to come over and we'll have coffee at my place. She asked if I wanted to go out with her and her other friends for a drink last weekend, but I said that no, but she's welcome to come over and we'll have a few drinks at mine. She said she already had plans and it felt weird to drink when she knows there's a child around. Honestly, I feel neglected. I feel like she put me on a back burner and doesn't want to be friends anymore. I'm always available, but she rarely comes over and I don't think that's fair. Today, I saw her photos from Saturday night out and I was fuming. She ditched me just so she could go and drink like she's 20 again. I felt rejected and horrible. I thought we were best friends, but she clearly doesn't value me when she won't even have a few drinks with me at my house. When she finished work, she called and asked if I fancied going for coffee to town, but I asked her to come over again. She said yes, but before she disconnected, I heard her mumble, like always. This really annoyed me. When she came over, I decided to be open about everything. And while not my proudest or most mature moment, I shouted at her that she's an awful friend that she barely comes over, and if she doesn't want to spend time with me to just say it and stop playing around. She said she's always been accommodating, but it's been 2 years and she doesn't want to spend time with me when there's always a kid, especially now when she has to watch her language. Mia likes to swear. I said that she knew I had a child and responsibilities. And she said that Tom, my partner, could take care of Sierra once in a while so I could have a time off. This felt really intrusive and I told her to mind her own business and not meddle on my marriage. I was really angry with her and kicked her out. She called me a selfish idiot on her way out. Normally, I would expect her to call by now with apologies, but she hasn't done so and I'm starting to wonder, was I the idiot or was she? Perhaps I was too harsh and should have been more careful with discussing it. The top replies, you are the idiot. She didn't ditch you. She asked you to go out with her friends as she'd made plans. She's not drinking like she's 20, she's drinking like someone who doesn't have a child. P.S. She's right. Your partner can look after your daughter once in a while, and should do, to try and bond with her. Nobody wants to have a little kid around every single time they see their friend. You can't talk with each other freely. The parent is literally always distracted, and maybe you don't always want to hang out at home with someone's toddler either? It's on original poster to get a babysitter or have her partner watch the child from time to time. Childless people are not interested in always having kids around. Neither are people who actually have kids themselves. Second reply. I'm not even sure if parents realize how much of the conversation when there's a kid around revolves around the kid. Oh, look at what Kaylee is doing. Hi, Kaylee.
Is Kaylee a big girl?
Does Kaylee need a kiss from mama? Peekaboo, peekaboo. Who's a big girl? Come give, friend who is grimacing, a hug. Can you say hello to aunt, friend who wishes they'd gone down the pub after all? Do you need a snack? Where's Bear Bear? Did you lose Bear Bear? Do you need aunt, friend whose brain is turning to jelly, to help you find Bear Bear? Ah, Kaylee, it's okay. Mama will give you a kiss. It's unbearable. Exactly. This level of entitlement is crazy. My bestie and I had a rocky patch when I got pregnant because she assumed that I would not hang out with her until she had a kid. Once I figured out that's what she thought was going to happen, I sat her down and said, yes, things are going to change for me, but we're only done if you or I decide we're done with each other, and I still want to be friends with you, so I am still going to put effort into our relationship. We set up a weekly lunch date and my husband knows this time is set aside for me, so he either takes the kid, now kids, or arranges a babysitter and I do the same for him when he wants to spend time with his friends. This became IMMEASUREABLY helpful during the pandemic. We just switched that time slot into Zoom and it was just so helpful to check in with someone and be like, okay, everything has gone insane, but how are you coping? The third story.
Am I the idiot for refusing to allow my family's property, willed to me, be used for my cousin's second wedding? I, 27M, am the owner of a property that was formerly my grandpa's home.
My grandpa was a farmer and he had this awesome property built whenever my mom and her sisters were in high school.
This was the family house, which my grandpa also built a giant garage on which my cousins have been using as a reception hall the last few years for their weddings.
When my grandma died, my grandpa and me started hanging more and I worked at the property since I was little. I am the only grandson he had. All my cousins on my mom's side are girls. In 2018 my grandpa passed away and I was left the property. This caused a bunch of drama amongst the family. But I know exactly why my grandpa did it. My grandpa was not a perfect person. He was very old-fashioned, hated divorce and was very traditional. His beliefs clashed with his daughter's. He wanted to hand his farm down to a son. He didn't have any and none of my aunts married the type of dudes he liked. So I became the de facto option. My grandpa especially disliked how my aunts were in their relationships cause he preached commitment. That man loved and was loyal to my grandma. My cousin, 28F, is getting married this fall. I'm at my parents' house and my aunt goes, well, the reception will be at the house. I told her nobody has talked to me yet. She said that since every other cousin had their reception there it should be a tradition. I said sure, but they all asked me and I wanted them there. Her daughter didn't ask me and I don't support the wedding. It's really legit reason. This is my cousin's second wedding. I'm not even close with her. We differ politically so I have her muted on social media. I didn't even know she was engaged. Me and this cousin hardly speak. Also, this is her second marriage. She cheated on her first husband with this dude, who was also married at the time. My grandpa would never approve of that or want that on his property. Also, I would have to be involved in the setup and clean up if it's at the house. I don't care to sacrifice my time. If she wants to rent the property and my time, then she can pay me a premium for the short notice. But I'm not doing it for free. I explained this all to my aunt and my cousin. They both threw a fit and tried having my mom talk to me. She tried pulling the family card in a guilt trip about my cousin having no money. I said my cousin has no money because of her divorce. It's a sham wedding and her dad wouldn't support it and she knows that. There was a reason that her dad didn't trust the property to his own kids. I said all my other cousins have been good people so I was willing to help. But this cousin and aunt are rude. My mom said I won't be invited to Christmas most likely then. I said okay, find another venue while you are at it. The house is the hangout spot for Christmas. My dad is calling me an idiot but I need to a fair judgment. Am I the idiot? The top replies, you are the idiot, though your family is acting a bit entitled. You have the right to use the property how you want, and to tell people they can't use the property or have to pay to use it. However, this is, am I the idiot, not, do I have the legal right? You got your property because your grandfather appeared to have regressive, misogynistic views, not because you did anything worthy of attaining it besides have a dick. You seem to have carried on these viewpoints, and additionally seem to be relishing in turning the screws on your family instead of playing ball. Extra money for short notice plus labor like it's a true reception venue. In most circumstances, they would be the idiots for expecting a free venue, but that is trumped by your behavior and bigotry here. Edit. To make it abundantly clear, as original poster has written it, his mom and aunt were disinherited by the grandfather solely on the basis of their gender and blindsided by this. This is not your typical am I the idiot? I inherited the property because nobody visited grandpa but me situation. The top replies, everyone sucks here. No one is entitled to show up to someone's home and business and throw a wedding. Period. They aren't entitled to your time or your property. Same goes for Xmas. I mean, how does mom think uninviting the host is going to work? But your attitude sucks. Just because grandpa got away with being a judgmental idiot doesn't mean that you are immune from the consequences of sharing the same opinions to everyone who will listen. I mean, I'd not think well of two people who cheated on their previous spouses and are marrying their AP. I'd be in the corner quietly betting on when the third wedding will be. But I wouldn't be bad-mouthing them to the family over things that don't affect me, and I wouldn't choose their infidelity as the hill to publicly die on. All you had to say was, cousin doesn't talk to me, didn't tell me she was engaged, and did not ask, did not even check to see if the date was feasible. For telling me that she was using the farm, she can now either pay for my time and access to the barn, or she can go elsewhere. And left it at that. Simple, easy, very hard to argue with. The second reply, you are the idiot, you're within your legal rights to tell them no, and they certainly should have talked to you first before just assuming they could have it there. You're still an idiot, you only got the property because your grandfather is an idiot. If he had done the right thing, he'd have split the property up equally amongst his children. Instead, he excluded them because they're female and he didn't like their husbands. Because of his backwards views, you benefited more than any of the rest of your family. Instead of being gracious and letting all your cousins, including this one, have their receptions there, which emo is the least you can do given all the rest of them probably got a pittance for inheritance, you are singling her out to exclude her because it's her second marriage. The fact that your grandfather wouldn't have wanted that doesn't matter, because he's dead now and frankly he sounds like a jerk, at least in terms of some of his views.
I just really can't imagine anybody hateful enough to effectively disinherit his own children over such stupid trivial things.
Maybe they inherited something else from him, but I doubt it was worth anywhere near what the property was.